Question for you. Which animals are the most important and why? This topic invites us to consider how various animals impact the environment, human society, and the broader ecosystem. From bees pollinating crops to dogs providing companionship, different animals hold unique significance. Hey philosophers, I'm Jonas, and this is Philosophy Friday. Welcome to our weekly deep dive into questions that make us think. Here we explore life's big questions with a philosophical twist, and everyone's welcome. Don't forget to check out the question for next week so you can be part of the conversation. Today's question: which animals are the most important? Let's explore how different animals play crucial roles in our ecosystems and societies. First, let's consider the bees. These small insects are vital for pollinating a vast majority of the crops that feed us. Without them, our food supply would drastically diminish, impacting both humans and other species. Okay, so bees are important. What about the big bad wolf? Apex predators, like lions and wolves, help maintain balance in their ecosystems by controlling prey populations. This balance is crucial for keeping the ecosystem healthy and diverse. Without them, prey would eat too much vegetation and they would die, and then their ecosystem would fall apart. And what about domesticated animals? Dogs, for example, have been companions for humans for thousands of years, providing both emotional support and practical help in various tasks. Philosopher Peter Singer has long advocated for the ethical treatment of animals, emphasizing their intrinsic value and the moral obligation humans have to consider their welfare. He says, "There's no reason to say humans have more worth or moral status than animals." Let's take a poll. If you think dogs are better, then like the video. If you prefer cats, then subscribe. And if you can't make up your mind, it's okay to do both. Let's see what our community has to say about the subject. Ultimate Lord Kai says, "I think there is a bias towards giving cognitive species more importance. I think no creature is more important than any other. If I had to choose one type of creature to save and all others would perish, I would choose a detritivore, or fungi if choosing all multicellular life. So long as there's something at the bottom of the food chain processing matter into something more usable, animal variety would re-emerge with time." Salty Space Cat says, "I have animals I like more than others, but I don't consider any animal more important than other animals. A lot of animals play an important role in their own ecosystem, wherever they are, and would have impact if they were suddenly taken out of it, regardless of how much humans like those animals." Kitty B says, "I don't think that any animal is above any other animal, with the exception of humans. They're the worst." Loco Roco writes, "Now, this is a very interesting conundrum. As much as I regurgitate at the thought, roaches can be considered very beneficial, as well as flies, vultures, and catfish, since they pretty much keep the earth clean of rot and fecal matter. Bees, obviously, are extremely important, since they are the main distributors of pollen across the world. While other bugs, birds, and sometimes other mammals can fit that role, none can do it better than a bee. Sharks and corals breathe life into our oceans, and are just as paramount to the ecological balance. To that extent, many predators within the realms outside of invasion of biomes are very important since they control the population of other species, unless it's a lionfish in the Atlantic and the Caribbean seas, for example. Of course, humans are just as important, since we are smart enough to understand that maybe we shouldn't mess with the balance of nature by introducing invasive species to native lands, or better yet, challenge ourselves with the very same question this question highlights." Rachel Ray says, "I think most animals are important for their unique reasons. Dogs are important because they can be a best friend. Cats are important because they love you in unique ways. Bees are important because of their ability to pollinate. Every animal is important, except spiders." Ultimate Lord Kai, who commented earlier, replies to Rachel saying that spiders are important for population control of insects. "I know they're creepy, but I've got to rep my spiders." But Rachel isn't the only one who mentions spiders. Cindy R says, "I think all animals are important except for maybe spiders, mosquitoes, and poisonous snakes." Seriously though, it feels like whenever an animal is endangered or goes extinct, then we find out that it creates problems for our ecosystems, which depend on all of the different animals at all of the different levels to keep our planet working the way it's meant to. Agreeing with Cindy, Josh says, "There are always negative side effects if an animal goes extinct. I think mosquitoes are the only animal that I know of that would be an obvious net positive if they went extinct, assuming the studies are right that there wouldn't be a noticeable impact from them being extinct." Thank you so much for your comments. Without you, Philosophy Friday would go extinct. Sorry. So what do I think? It's really hard to rank the importance of animals. As many of the commenters have pointed out, they are all important, but that doesn't stop us from ranking them anyway. Some of you would do away with spiders or snakes. I'd personally love if every mosquito disappeared immediately, but we also treat the animals we like differently. Some of them we eat, some of them we keep as pets. Some we do science experiments on. And honestly, there are people that are important to me that wouldn't be alive if an animal experimentation hadn't happened. But that doesn't mean that those animals are less important. As is pretty common, there really isn't a straightforward answer for something like this, especially since if we remove any one animal, then entire ecosystems can collapse. And I'll remind you that if their ecosystems collapse, so do ours. So I think regardless of which animal we like the best, we should do what we can to preserve their ecosystems and the animals themselves to keep nature in balance. Thanks for watching and keep questioning. So what do you think? Are cats more important than catfish? Comment below with your thoughts. And if you like this video, then join our conversation for next week about the role of technology in our daily lives, on screen now. It's people like you who make these videos possible, and the best way to keep this community going is by joining the discussion in the comments. You might be featured on next week's video.